So, welcome you all. On behalf of Marg Institute of Design and Architecture, Swarnabhumi, we welcome you all for today's session on dialogue with architect Aravind and on how to crack NATA 2021. Now, I request our beloved principal, Professor Parisutta Rajans, to give the welcome address. Welcome, sir.
Happy morning. Thank you, Jameen. Happy morning to one and all. A very good morning to all the aspiring young minds to take architecture, and also a special morning to Professor Aravind. Happy to have you on this webinar titled How to Crack NATA 2021. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Welcome. Aravind, as a teacher, as a trainer, has more than 10 plus years of experience in training young minds, inspiring young minds take up this profession of architecture. Almost 1,200 plus students, he has made them to enroll in this program in the past 10 plus years, and also has successfully placed them in various universities in and around Chennai, in Tamil Nadu, and also he has inspired them basically through his training, through his approach towards NATA, which is a precursor or which is a pre-qualifying aptitude test for any aspirant of architecture. So we are here with an expert who has trained many, who has made them to make their dream of joining architecture true. So with these few words, once again, I welcome you all, and I now, without much of wasting time, I request Aravind to take over. Thank you.
So, before starting, I would like to welcome our Professor Senthil Kumar to introduce the guest speaker.
Thank you, Jabin.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar session. I would like to introduce today's presenter, Professor V. Aravind, a friend of mine. He holds a Bachelor of Architecture from Madras University in the year 2003 and his Masters in Landscape Architecture from Anna University in the year 2005. He has started his career as a freelancer and involved in various projects across India. For the past 1 decade, he is also an academician, worked in all verticals of academics. Currently working as a professor at SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai, and pursuing his PhD at SRM IST. More than 10 years of training, mentoring, and counseling in all design disciplines, including architecture, interior, fashion, visual art, and communication. He is heading a training institute designed to coach creatively inclined aspirants to pursue the professional design career. He has trained 1,200 design aspirants through his training center. Further ado, I once again welcome you, Aravind. Over to you.
Thank you, my friend Senthil.
Thank you, Professor Senthil, for the nice introduction. Thank you, nice to see you.
Yes, please, Aravind.
Yes, sir. Is it audible, ma'am? Is it audible?
Yes, very much, very much.
Thank you.
You can take over.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I should really thank the management of MIDAS, the principal, my guru, Rajan sir, and organizing committee members, Senthil, Jabrisha ma'am, and all others who have worked on this. First instance, I would like to thank every one of you for having me here. To start the session, just how to crack NATA 2021 is the topic which I'm going to present it for today. We'll just take it. So creativity is intelligence, having fun. The great scientist Albert Einstein has said, yes, creativity is intelligence with fun. So anybody for that matter would like to have fun in our life, right? when the fun and the profession is going to join hands, definitely, I don't think it can be better than this. That is what architecture is all about. Not only about architecture, it's about any creative field is all about that. And today's session, like we're going to discuss on this four topics. Why NATA? The advantage of NATA 2021 for the aspirants who are actually writing, who has written the NATA 2021, who is waiting for NATA 2021. So we like to really decode the advantage of NATA 2021. And definitely, with all the topic of Council of Architects participation, we cannot complete this session. So I'm going to touch upon the Council of Architects, its role in education for a couple of minutes. And most importantly, the purpose of NATA is to join a college. Of course, we should understand what should be a college selection criteria. A couple of points which I will like to share with you people, which in turn might help you to choose a college based on certain parameters and the demand what the course is required. And we'll go to the question and answer sessions, which is going to be the predominant portion of the presentation for the day. So we'll just start with the NATA. Why NATA? Why should you have an aptitude test at all? Why can't you join an architecture course without even this test, aptitude test, and you start your career? If you have an aspiration to join as an architect, you can definitely join. Why there should be a test, an aptitude test is required? This is something very, very important question that everybody would need to know. Why there should be an aptitude test? Why Council of Architects is so particular about conducting this test and evaluating the students based on the outcome of the test? Why? That is it. The reason is, if you want to understand the brain, you can say like the left brain and right brain, two different parts of the brain. The left brain, it's more of a logical. It will have calculations, although mathematical stuff. It's been governed by the left brain. If you see, a mathematician will be very, very strong when he has a left brain is really active. And an artist, it goes without saying, whose right brain is activated, it is very strong, will be an artist. You cannot find, or very, very rare persons, like a mathematician being an artist, or an artist being a mathematician. That's very rare combo, and not many can able to excel both. But the point is, wherever you're strong, you can definitely excel in your life. Here, for architecture, the right brain has to work equally like a left brain. See, all our education systems, from the LKG till 12th standard, most of our education systems, like whatever the system we are working in, the left brain is getting actuated through the process. The analytical, the logical stuff is being actually like been triggered, and there is a lot of sense. And the right brain part, which actually is the music, art, emotions, we actually see these things are just in hobbies and doesn't become a profession. Very few will do it. Very few are, can be successful in it. That's the reason why they say the right brain is just to make sure that your emotions, colors, creative, fun, and imaginations. But we always start the left brain activities to our livelihood or to our profession, all the stuff. But in architecture, as I said, the right brain has to be strong enough or you have to trigger. No worries, that happens by training. See, we usually don't teach NATA. If you see, we train. It's a training center, not a teaching or coaching center where you coach, you train, where you teach. We don't teach, we can't teach. So we can trigger the ideas in their minds by through techniques. We train the students, we don't teach the students. That's the difference between teaching and training. Training is some kind of a skill they should hold, where we focus and we enhance the skills. That's how it happens. So understanding this. So if you have basic fundamental things in your right brain, definitely that will help you in joining your course, even though if you're aspirant about joining the architecture, but you should have a basic qualities, some fundamental you should know, so that you will be having a comfortable journey in the architecture. To get that, you have to pass the exam. And the NATA exam is more focusing on 70% of the right brain combinations and 30% of the left brain. Even that is also equally important. We need that. But the percentage varies. All these years till 12th standard, your left brain is takes off 90% and right brain is 10%. The architecture is a course, not only architecture, any creative course needs right brain's participation more than the left brain's participation. So to evaluate yourself, okay, I want to become an architect, I want to join architecture course or any creative course for that matter, any professional creative course. Are you qualified? Or you can, or if it's not about getting qualified, it's about focusing on it, increasing your abilities in the right brain participation. That's why NATA is going to play a very, very important role, and you should get trained for this. Okay, this is about NATA. What is the advantage we have in NATA 2021? See, NATA is being conducted way back from 2005 or something. Before that also we had aptitude test, but Council of Architects started conducted in way back, I think if not wrong, 2005 onwards, almost 15 years. And this year and last year is a unique one because of the pandemic, they have changed the pattern. If you ask me personally, definitely I would say the people, the students, the aspirants who are appearing for NATA 2021 are really a luckiest one. I would definitely say they are the luckiest one. They have the edge is easier for me. Them the what I will say, like the competitive spirit. Unlike in other NATAs, what's the difference? The other NATAs, like the previous NATAs, it's not about reasoning. It is not about only the aptitudes is important. Even your drawing skill also equally takes a contribution. In fact, it takes 40% of your contribution, 60% is your aptitude, 40% your drawing skills. Which I have an opinion, like if you have a good hand, you can definitely get the better marks. And if you have a limited aptitude, of course, you can definitely qualify. But I differ the opinion there. No, aptitude is something else entirely. If a person doesn't have a good hand, it doesn't mean that he is not fit to join an architecture course. If he has a good aptitude skills, definitely that skill, the decision-making skills which is there within you, will help you in deciding the things in the architecture course. So I would always suggest having 100% aptitude qualification is better, where you can definitely make yourself eligible to join architecture if you score better marks and good marks. And you know, out of 200 marks, this time it's only 75 marks is the qualification marks. It is just little less than 50%, about 35 to 37%. So aptitude skills, if you enhance your aptitude skills, definitely you have a better chance. Maybe in the past, only 60% of chances are there because aptitude holds only 60%. Another 40% is drawing skills. Here, this year, 100% aptitude skills. So it's better. Now to get to the point, evaluating reasoning skills, the aptitude skills otherwise. So what NATA has come out with is 6 different categories they have going to evaluate you. One is diagrammatic reasoning, numerical reasoning, inductive reasoning, situational judgment, logical reasoning, and abstract reasoning. About all 6, one, you need to understand the abstract reasoning, which access with general knowledge and ability to use the knowledge in the situation. See, general knowledge is something which you need to read books, know the field, relevant information about the field. But for this, all other 5, it just it will be like if you train yourself, if you do a lot of exercises in it, you will definitely get in it. So out of 6, 1/6 is general knowledge, 5/6 is your thinking process, which is very, very important. Now, when you actually going to appear exam, if you appear the exam, well and good, you already had one experience of writing it, and one more exam tentatively is on 12th of June. We really don't know how things are going to get shaped because of this pandemic situation, yet to get any official information. And if somebody would have written the exam already, somebody is yet to write an exam, all those situations are there. Now, when you appear for an exam, you have 3 things will be there. If any question being asked to you, you will have 3 situations. Situation number one, you know the answer. You've gone through that, you've studied or you're prepared for it. You know the answer. Situation number one. I don't think you need to worry about that. Situation number two, you don't know the answer. See, you don't know the answer can happen in a scenario that it also depends upon the question. Some questions which is related to general knowledge, like who is the architect for the tallest building in the world? If you're not prepared, it is very difficult to decode the answer. This is one way. The third one is using your reasoning skills to identify the answer. As I told you, the abstract reasoning, which requires your general knowledge and your preparations, is only 1/6 of your entire 200 mark system. Wherein like 5/6 of the thing where reasoning is very important. So when you train your mind, train yourself for reasoning the answers, it's easy for you to score maximum marks. Equally, you have to support with the general knowledge. I will say a few examples, which is like I'm going to tell you. Now, this is one of the questions which we got it in the previous NATA schedules. So they are given the box. They are asking you to, when the box is unfolded, out of these 4 options, which option will be right? Is the question they gave you. Now, this requires training, not about knowledge. So you have to think, you have to use your reasoning skills, and you have to work for some time, and you have to give an answer. So thinking process is very, very important, because our profession is that when you're going to become an architect or when you're going to join architecture college, visualization is one basic tool which is very, very essential for any architecture student, right? So to trigger that, these kind of techniques or these kind of things are very essential. So this question, you may not know the answer, but you will get to know the answer if you apply logical sense into it, and you will get to the answer. So you have to get trained for it. Now the second question, it's like something like you get remembrance. You would have seen this. See, I think this 2K kids, Google is something like become the third link for you people. It's available. The data are available. 10 sentences are available. Everybody would have come across Google. But this question is very tricky. Which color combination the Google holds out of these 4? You would have seen every day at least twice or thrice or 10 times you would have seen Google. But this is something which needs you to think and answer it. It doesn't come that way. Got it? So you have to think. How? Definitely G starts with blue. Then what is the next color? Is it red or yellow? Definitely you can answer. This is something which you have to get it from your back of the mind, subconscious mind. Then you can answer it. This is one type of questions which you need to encounter. And this question, what is the color scheme? Of course, NATA has color schemes. You need to understand color theory. There's a basic fundamental theory. Cool colors, warm colors, bright colors, all tones, all those stuff are there. Now, this question is something like, what is the color scheme used in the given logo of a food brand? Okay. Now you have 4 options: secondary colors, analog colors, split complementary colors, triadic colors. If you have gone through this, definitely you can answer it easily. But unfortunately, you're not deep dived into this color schemes. Now this question is in front of you. How do you choose? You have to go for a probability method. Now you have 4 answers with you, and you don't know the answer. That's an important point here. You don't know the answer, but you have 4 options left in front of you. You have to go for a kind of a system where like you have to cut down the possibilities. Okay, now you have only 25% chance to answer a right one with these 4 options. Now what you have to do is increase the chances by using a logical sense. Secondary color schemes. Everybody must have gone through. Okay, primary and secondary, definitely RBG, all things basic thing. Red is there in this logo. So red. So secondary color schemes cannot be a part of this. Now you cut down the secondary color schemes. Still you have 3 options. Now you have the chance of answering is became from 25% to 30%, 33%. Now your better option. So you removed secondary color scheme because you know red cannot be a part of the secondary color scheme. Still, I don't know what kind of a color scheme is this. One is like I increase my chances now. So I removed the option A in it. Okay. Analogous colors, split complementary, triadic. So 33% of chances now you hold. Now what you have to do is triadic. It talks about 3 colors, and Burger King also, this logo also has 3 colors, right? Somewhere there's a connection. Somewhere I'm trying to coin it. See, definitely I don't know the answer. Analogous, split complementary, and triadic. Where triadic is more relative to this logo. In the sense, there are 3 colors. Triadic is 3 colors. Anything which you deal with 3 different colors is triadic. So the chances of this answer is more with my logical application. I don't know the answer when I started looking at it, but my logical application says triadic and 3 colors, and the logo also has 3 colors, where I take my chance connecting the triadic. So triadic is the actual answer for this. You don't know the answer, but you try to apply a logical sense and you try to coin the answer. This is the way where you can answer the questions in the third method. The first method I said you know the answer, you tick it. The second is you don't know the answer. You need some basic preparation. So you cannot work out it. Third method is you don't know the answer, but you can apply logical sense to answer it, where the chances of winning is equally 30 to 40%, where the unknown answers can become in favor to you. This is the way you can score your marks. So this is attitude. Don't worry that you don't know about secondary, you don't know about analogous, split complementary. Don't worry about that. The moment you see the question, if you don't know, don't get panic. Use your logical sense. What could be the answer? Try to analyze. Definitely you'll get an answer. 100%. Because I have seen my students. When they do mock test for the first time, they get very less marks. When I train them how to answer the question, without even knowing the answer, they get better marks. They improve their stuff. So that is why mock test is very, very important in the sequence of that. You have to take as many tests as possible related to your exams. Okay. So next is this questions like you don't know. Basically, unless I do, otherwise you do a homework, you do your preparations, you might answer this kind of questions. Don't worry, this kind of questions is only 1/6 out of 200 questions. There will be only 15 to 20 questions might be of this category. Most of the other questions, like 180 questions, will be belong to other 5 categories. So, but why do you lose even these questions? Try to prepare related to your topic, and you do it. And this also identify the tallest buildings from the set of the pictures. Got it? So these kind of questions you need to do on homework. We don't have any shortcuts or clues for it or answering techniques unless otherwise you have to prepare yourself for it. This is something which you need to understand. There are 180 questions, you can answer it with a logical sense. 20 to 25 questions, you need to really do a preparation. If you can train your mind for logical analysis, analytical analysis, I think you can easily crack NATA. And you are the luckiest batch where the drawing skills is 0, analytical, logical skills will qualify you for 100%. Unlike in the previous years, this time it's very easy for you to crack the exam if you can train yourself. You have to train your skills. Nothing can be induced. You cannot teach. You have to train. To train, you should have some basic fundamental knowledge. You can trigger that. We as a trainers will trigger your skills. We can train you to get better marks, and most of the things you have to do like doing a lot of mock tests. Now, NATA, you know, National Aptitude Test for Architecture, conducted by Council of Architecture. Now, COA, you need to understand, if you are really particular about joining architecture, of course, creative field, if you are very, very particular, then definitely you should go and visit this site, coa.gov.in, where you can see the status of institutions is there. You have to really, really log in there, understand go through, you will get information about all the institutions across India, which has architecture as their one of the courses. And the standalone courses, standalone institutions like MIDAS, as a very few institutions which has architecture as a majority. Of course, they do have other creative field, but architecture is their prime thing. It is not a part of any engineering college or something like that. It is a core thing. So you'll get in details and information about all the institutions across India, which has architecture as one of their discipline. So I advise all the students just access this website, go to status of institutions and browse through the website to understand what actually architecture is all about, who's governing, who is heading, all the things, very, very important information which you need to understand. Because ignorance is something, if you go to lose anything because of ignorance, that's the biggest crime. No, you should avoid the ignorance. To avoid ignorance, you should know, you should go and hunt for it, get the information for it. You will have a lot of tabs in it. A lot of information will be handy. You might get a clue for your exams also. We really don't know where it comes from, but this is the way you have to understand. Okay. So next, the most important thing is college selection criteria. As we are talking about, it's like architecture is a creative world. It needs to focus. Now, how do you select a college? Based on what criteria you have to select a college? Of course, college has to be selected by its past performance, how the college has performed well in the past, which will be one of the important tasks or tool for you to select a college. Okay, unlike engineering, the selection of a college here doesn't stop only where the performance of the college alone. It also tagged with how far is the college from your place. In engineering, definitely mental skill, mental freshness is equally important. But in architecture, apart from mental freshness, even physically you should be fresh and day. For a person who is going to travel for more than an hour per day, one way, to his college to pursue architecture, I would not advise. A travel should not be more than 1 hour. What is the case if college is really good, but it is not within the 1 hour duration? What should I do? I would always advise, rather, even if it is within 1 hour review, I will always advise architecture students to be a hostelry, residential course, not a day scholar. A residential course which will definitely you can invest your 5 years of time in a residential course where you will not have any distractions, any travels. The focus is only towards your profession. So as you said, if you really like the course, I would always advise you to choose a hostel category, a residential course, where your skill can be much enhanced than the day scholar. Nothing wrong with being a day scholar. But my point is, being in a hostel, studying from the hostel, 24/7 you have exposure towards the education, which will definitely take care of next 50 years. So, MIDAS is one such institution with a wide opportunity, no distraction at all, at a very close proximity to the capital city. This is one of the best colleges which you can definitely choose, where totally you're in hostel, 24/7 you are exposed to the thing. Your faculty teams are working there, staying there, which is very few institutions in the India, where are 400 to 500 institutions. Very few institutions have this kind of an opportunity where you can definitely join as a resident. Okay, so this is one of the selection criteria which you need to understand. Last but not the least, all the best for a successful career. Don't worry making mistakes, but don't repeat the mistakes. That's the only thing. Innovation will definitely land up in committing mistakes, but don't worry. Make a mistake, but learn quickly from that mistake and don't commit the same mistake. Thank you very much. Now I open it for the question and answers.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
for your presentations was really good, and it will definitely inspire students to practice more on the NATA questions. To start with more conversation on NATA aptitude, I would like to ask one important question to you, like how you got into architecture, and can you share your own experience on NATA examination or any other entrance exam you've taken up during your aspirant period?
Yeah, I just completed a short while. When I joined architecture, like in way back in 1998, there was no NATA because NATA started in 2005. In way back in 1998, there was another scheme of entrance exam called ATA, Aptitude Test for Architecture, which was being conducted by Anna University. I had no knowledge about that. Still, I tried to appear for the exam. That's what I say, right? Entrance exams are very important. Aptitude skill enhancing, it will teach you what you are, what you are capable of. When I wrote the exam, I never had an idea of joining architecture, to be very frank. Architecture was one of my choices. I was so inspired to join IT because IT was booming, pre-2K, right? Every Tom, Dick and Harry was like, I want to join information technology, computer science. That was booming like hell then. So as me, I'm no excuse for it. So my choice was IT. Because my father said to write NATA rather, I wrote. The moment I gave the exam, this is something very good, right? Like, which will definitely help me. I started falling in love with the exam itself. That's more important. Then I started hunting about architecture. Even after I got my aspirational course, BIT, I got the course, I got my seat, but I gave up that. I joined architecture because for the love I had. I'm really glad and happy that I've taken the right choice in 1998. I don't know whether if I would have opted IT, I don't know whether I would have been in India or abroad, but I really don't, I couldn't understand. But one thing is for sure, I'm happy now. I'm really happy. I'm not, it's my personal opinion. I love my profession because the moment I start loving my profession, I don't work. I have never worked for past 15, 18 years. I'm enjoying my profession. Every day was challenge. Every day is actually inspiring, even including today. It's an opportunity for me to meet you people and really inspire the aspirants. You need not work entire life. You start loving what you do. I'm doing it. I'm not working anymore. So this is two, and I definitely feel aptitude test is very important to understand what is your skill are. Had not the aptitude test been given there, I would have joined architecture because I would have got IT. I would have not known about this course. I would have joined IT and would have been somewhere else. But now I'm really happy that aptitude test has really made me to enjoy my life. I'm still enjoying and be enjoying my life, and that's the thing.
Yeah, I guess I really agree with your points, sir, because many of them choose architecture at the very last minute while they're having something in my mind. But I chose architecture. It was like a very informed decision to me. But still, as you said, like we all love our profession.
Yes.
That's very cool about architecture. No one can say, no, I'm not liking it.
Yeah, definitely
So,
not.
yeah. Sir, you was telling about entrance exam and aptitude exam in two different terms. Like, does it has any difference in between? Any specific difference in between?
Yes, ma'am, definitely. Entrance exam will a normal entrance exam, like if you see other entrance exams, it will definitely test your knowledge, general knowledge, or knowledge towards that particular discipline. But aptitude exam will test your skills. It is not that you get tested about, like if you study English, if you ask a question from English, you'll be able to answer it. If you study mathematics, you will be able to get answer from mathematics, you'll be able to answer it. But the aptitude test is not that. It is not about general knowledge. It is about reasoning skills. It will actually trigger your idea, what you are capable of. It will show you what is your strength and weakness. So definitely aptitude test is entirely different from the entrance test. And for architecture, it is required. Like IAS officers, they test them with the exam might be about general knowledge, But when they go for a personal interview, it's more of an aptitude type questions, not about the gender knowledge alone. So you should be complete enough in your education. Definitely, you should have aptitude skills and general skills. So here in aptitude test, aptitude is been more, which will teach you what is your strength and weakness of. Okay, so I think we need to have it, and there's a lot of different.
Yes, we do agree with your point, sir. And but in this situation, like whole world is facing a big crisis, Corona. So, as a professional, do you agree even at this point we need an entrance exam to take a professional course, especially with BARC? What is your stand on that?
Uh, Personally, I would say since I'm just standing for the aptitude test skills, just to say it's not about filtering process, ma'am. Seriously, I'm telling you, this test is not to filter anyone. This test to get to know about yourself, your strength and weakness. I'm repeating that point again and again. This test is just to make you understand what is your strength and what is your weakness. You understand? You should not choosing a wrong course that you are actually not inclined for. See, I have been, since I'm an academician, I have seen many students, they join architecture because their parents have forced them to join architecture, because their parents say their cousins or their nephews, niece have joined architecture, you join architecture. Without liking towards architecture, they have joined and they couldn't cope up with the system because it is not the rational way of teaching. The architecture course, right from the day one, we tell that school of architecture. We don't say college of architecture. Why school? Of course, many who are here, the faculties knows, we start teaching ABCD, writing ABCD. It might sound funny for outside people. We are not teaching them to write ABCD. We are teaching them how to write ABCD, which really, it's a funny thing for if you say what you learn. Because my students will say, sir, my mom is asking what this school is ABCD. As if that after 12th standard, 14 years of your education, you are teaching ABCD. They don't understand why we are doing that. So, to have a self-evaluation, this exam is required. Maybe the pattern of exam can be altered. Instead of regular mode, considering the pandemic situation, you have to actually alter the way. Instead of going to a test center, the council should come out with an option where they can write their exam, they can give their exam from wherever they are, considering the pandemic situation. And you have to definitely take care of all the malpractice has to be filtered. Of course, it's possible in technology. We have a technology now which is so vast that you can actually take care. But going to a test center would not be preferable. But being at home, you can give the exam, which will definitely help the students. My answer to your question is, we need not to filter to self-realization. I might be happy, but see, I want to become a American president. That might be the thing, but a roadmap is something different, right? First, I need to get qualified. Okay, I want to become, either I can create a platform for that, or I need to say, okay, if not American president, at least Indian president or some other country president. You know, just an example, I'm just metaphorically I'm examining. So the kind of that. So you need to understand you. For that, you need to write things. It's very important.
Yes, so when you're answering, I just got to my first year level where I used to practice the lines, dots,
yes,
fonts, everything. That was fun at that time. That really taught us more as a very good person in future. That's amazing part in architecture. But sir, we, as you said, like it is unnegotiable on entrance or aptitude exam. But in this lockdown situation, how student can prepare, since we are in the last phase of the NATA2 preparation, what could be done quickly for students to get more marks? Like, can you share any few tips on that?
Yes, ma'am, definitely. For any skill enhancement, any you have to practice. And in this lockdown situation, you have in front of you, it has tons and tons of data. You have to prepare yourself by writing mock test. That is very, very important. You have to give as much, because by giving many mock tests, especially for aptitude kind of skills enhancement, see, doing a preparation, getting trained is one way, but that alone is not going to help you out. Like, for example, I would say, you're a cricketer. That's a very common sport, right? When you play in nets, you will definitely play without any fear. So your batting skills you can enhance. But when you go and play for the match, the mental strength is intelligent. He is the same guy who is prepared in the nets. Right? That's where he gets confidence. When he plays in the real match, that is where his skill is. How to overcome the mental pressure during the real match, play as many matches as possible. The mindset what you play in the first match would not be there in the 100th match. Your mindset is entirely different. You know, you get evolved during the process. So, my advice to all the students is get trained and focus on match test. Appear for number of tests. As many tests as well, because we have only 180 minutes for 200 marks, and questions are like 1 mark questions are there, 2 mark questions are there, 3 mark questions are there. The competency will give you 200 marks for 180 minutes and 125 questions. That's how they have designed this NATA 2021. So, giving a lot of mock tests, you get confidence. With the confidence, your answering skills will end. So, my advice to all the students is, spend maximum time in attending a mock test. It is available. You don't worry. It is not only related to NATA. Any aptitude test. Any aptitude test. Because we have aptitude skills, not about the just enhancing. Aptitude skills is important. We have lot of data available in the web. Lot of tests available for aptitude skills. Try to appear. Try to answer. And that's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, I would like to know another important answer from you, since you already trained almost 1,200 aspirants to get into architecture. I think we will get a best answer from you. What was the pulse of the student who attended the NATA one, and how was the questions for them, and what is the result? Is their expected result, or they face some failure into it? So what was your stand, sir?
To be frank, I can talk about paid for NATA one. That's more kind of I can share their experience. Since in the past 10 years, we were actually training students. Like the initial, the first couple of years, decoding their emotional things was entirely different. The pattern of exam was entirely different. Then everything was entirely different. But one thing is common: a student who have appeared 10 years back. Way back, I'm talking about 2009 or 2010, and the students are all those. The mentality is same. Since we train them, we focus them on certain areas. We know what would be the outcome the moment they get questions. We have trained them. Got it? If you see like this Burger King logo kind of training sessions we had. So when I speak about my students who have got trained in my center, they have already prepared for the questions. Of course, a few questions they couldn't answer. We have not focused there because we can't cover. It's an ocean, right? It's like we don't expect the question from which part of the architecture. It's an ocean. Certain areas we have not focused. In the sense we have that given us a tool. That's why I told you in my presentation also. 20% of the question is from the 20 questions, not 20%. It's 20 questions. So it's from the general knowledge. 5, 6 is from the reasoning skills. So we focus on reasoning skills, the diagrammatic, logical, all the stuff. We give hundreds and thousands of questions to them to get trained. So that the coaching session will be for 10 minutes, the mock test will be for 2 hours. And we have a post-test session where the approach to a question matters. We discuss. See, one guy would have approached in different pattern. The other guy would have approached different pattern. When you do a brainstorming session about that, the confidence level is getting increased. So my thing is, with my students' experience, the sessions they appeared, it was easy for them. Comparatively, I would definitely say the NATA one was the easiest one. when we compare with the previous years, this is definitely easier one. And of course, the COA also has considered it, and it has really helping the students. And if you have reasoning skills, if you have reasoning skills enhanced, I don't think you'll have any problem in attending this course. It's easy, to be very frank, and no need to worry. NATA2 is also going to be that way. If I'm not wrong, the information whatever I got, there might be NATA3 also. They say, I don't know how far that is a fact, but there's a rumor about NATA3. We should wait for official information from the COA. If we expect maybe the COA might be really helpful, they are actually supporting in many ways. So NATA3, if it comes, I think it will be happy. It will help a lot of students to join the course, the aspirants to join the course.
Okay. So as a academician, even I would like to have NATA3. If COA consider that with all the possibilities, that is always welcome. And also, sir, you were telling that the student who are attending NATA now is the luckiest batch. But I felt one small negative on that is they are missing the sketching part, the most learning and fun part in NATA. So, does student need to practice sketching on their own in addition to the NATA exam pattern, and what effect would it have in their architecture career?
Sure. See, of course, the sketching part is not there in NATA 2021. Of course, that is not there, but my perspective, maybe differ. My perspective is just sketching alone is not going to make you qualified to be an architect. See, the way I put this way, okay, an artist can definitely sketch better. Okay, just because he has sketched well, he will have a better edge in joining architecture. But sketching is one of the tools. Thinking process, reasoning is the major tool, because we, as an architect, we have actually enhancing the visualization skill. Sketching is an art. It's a skill where you can express your thing through drawings. Before, maybe like, because NATA 2021 doesn't have a sketching criteria, it doesn't mean that the students who are going to join architecture will not have sketching talent, hands. Anyway, the first year, when we take it first year, we have a delineation and we have art studios where they can enhance their skills. So I don't think only the gateway is going to have a scope for opening many people. See, if you take me, I don't have a good hand. But somehow, like, I am trying to manage it. Well, with the technological support, I have a 3D rendering software nowadays. Unlike in those days, we have everything. If your imagination, if your thinking skills, if you can visualize stuff, if you can have a category, then sketching should not be a problem, because it has been digitalized. There should be a big shift in the curriculum, in my opinion. I might be differing with others. I would always suggest, right from the semester 1 or 2, the digital skill has to be introduced to the students, because we are in different era, the digital era. Of course, basic fundamentals should be taught. We should not give up that. But that is not one, right? Right till 3rd year, 4th year, you have to do manual drawings. No. First semester, you do manual. Second semester onwards, go to digital. It will help in a better way. Students get exposed to digital world in the earlier stage of their course. They can do better. So sketching may not have a big impact. It might have a very little impact, but not a very big impact. Still, you can enhance your sketching skills after joining architecture, is my personal opinion.
Okay, sir. So
Yes.
I think we are in the end of this section. I would like to know what is your final words for this architecture aspirants who are trying to write NATA 2, your final tips for them, maybe.
Yeah. See, yes, ma'am. As I told you, don't get panic. I'm repeating again and again. There are 3 different situations you might be there for any question. Either you know the question, no worries. If you don't know the questions, you think, try to get it from your knowledge. What of the thing? The question is general knowledge question I'm talking about. Get it. The third one is, the third situation is, if you apply your reasoning skills, you can definitely get the answer, as it did be in the some time back. So, out of these 3 options, in 2 options, the probability of giving a right answer is more. One option which you don't know the answer because of general knowledge, so you have to train yourself before the exam. So you take NATA one pattern, how the questions have been asked. Try to revolve around the near here and there. Okay, definitely you can be closer to your what the questions you are going to get NATA 2 and NATA 3. If NATA 3 is going to happen. So my tips to you is do lot of mock tests to enhance your reasoning skills. Mock test is something which is going to help you a better way. Don't stop just doing mock test. You do a mock test as a group friends, 4 or 5. If you're in training centers, if you are going to form a team, do a mock test, and most importantly, do a brainstorming session after mock test. I'm telling you, my dear students, if you do mock test, if you prepare which, if you do a brainstorm session, the NATA exam will be an easy catwalk for you. No need to worry about that. NATA is very easiest one. It's the easiest exam possible. The only thing is to become it easier, you do lot of mock tests. Completely you have to do mock tests as much as possible to get confidence. That will help you in a better way. For aptitude test, training, mock test, getting lot of mock tests is the key for success.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for this very informative session and your inciting presentation as well. And I personally thank you for being patient enough to answer all the questions like I was asking you before. Now, I would like to welcome our academic coordinator, Meenakshi Sundaram, sir, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Jabin. Any student side, any query we are discussing or?
Sir, I guess we are at the end of the session, so might if students have any doubts, we can clarify them later.
Okay,
So
right.
we are in the
Thank you.
closing part. Yes.
No issue. Morning, everyone. I'm Meenakshi Sundaram, academic coordinator. I'm here to present the vote of thanks for the today's webinar. I would like to thank our webinar speaker, Professor Aravind, to enlightening us with his knowledge and information. Today's webinar was full of knowledge about NATA exam, how to crack the same. It gave deep insight into the topic and also revealed how to crack the NATA exam. I'm best to our aspiring architect students and their future. Once again, I'd like to thank Professor Aravind for taking out his busy schedule and enlightening us with the knowledge. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
I
sir.
Yeah, I'd like to thank our principal, Professor Parichatarajan, for giving permission to organizing this webinar session and inviting Professor Aravind to conduct it. I want to thank Professor Senthil and for the guest introduction and Architect Jabin, today's webinar moderator. And also, I'd like to thank admission team for their
Um, so can you hear us? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Meenakshi sir's internet has some
No worries.
it's
Okay.
okay. I would like to end this with his continuation thanking note. Like, thank you so much for the
Yeah,
participants.
my
Thank you so much,
connection
sir.
lost.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Uh,
thank you.
so thank you, sir. So we will expecting
Yeah,
you soon in MIDAS for some
Rabin,
other webinars also. Yes, sir. Professor
Thank you,
Jayaraman
Aravind.
sir or
yeah,
Emma
Rabin,
HOD
I,
wants to share something.
yeah, I would like to thank our professor Aravind. A very nice presentation for the new aspirants of architecture. Really, it gives based on your presentation, we think that students need more practice before writing the exam. That's really good, and this is the thing we all architects have to tell the rescue students, particularly who are studying or maybe going for some other professions. Even any exam, not only NATA, they need practice and mock tests continuously. They have to prepare before going for the final exam. Anyway, it's nice to hear many things from you, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you, Professor Aravind. Thanks for the time. Thanks for the valuable comments and sharing your experience.
It's my pleasure, sir.
Thank you
It's
so
my
much for joining
thank you, sir.
us.
Thank you.
Rock is the only way to rock. NATA. Thank you.
Punch.
And also
Thank you,
thank
sir.
NATA. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks. Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well said, well said. And
Thank
I
you,
hope
sir.
we have NATA 32 from Council of Architecture. It's a good news from you. I'm
Yes,
happy
sir. Yes,
to
sir.
hear that. So
Yes, sir.
definitely we'll talk to the president. We'll make him to make it possible. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you, sir.
day.
Thank you, sir. Good day, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for
Good day
listening.
to all. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
Team
thank you, sir.
MIDAS. Thank you for the wonderful event. Great. Keep going. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much, sir. Thank you, Jeremy.
I request all the attendees to leave the session. Thank you so much for attending it.
Yeah, thank you.